This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, welcome everyone. So far, b'siyata d'shmaya, this year our Friday Shiur has been on the Haftorahs, and we've made it this far. B'siyata d'shmaya, we're already up to the end of Bamidbar, so I'm not going to be here next week. We can't break the streak, we have to at least 1 year go through something on each Haftorah. So we have here the Sefer Chazoin David, that my friend Rabbi Yaakov Ganjian gave me. Here he brings that what's the connection between the Haftorah of Pinchas and the Parsha? Very obvious. The Sefer Malachim speaks about Eliyahu, and we know Pinchas hu Eliyahu. By the way, there's a very interesting chidah. The chidah says, why do Chazal always say Pinchas hu Eliyahu? It should say, one second, who came first? Pinchas came first. So we should say Pinchas is Eliyahu. We haven't met Eliyahu. Say, you know who Eliyahu is? Eliyahu is Pinchas. So he brings a medrash that Eliyahu is already Meshamesh Lamala. He already served God in the heavens well before Pinchas ever came to the scene. So we say, you know who Pinchas is? It's really Pinchas is Eliyahu. Okay. So we have an interesting pasuk. Vayaged Achav Izevel. Achav, who was not a good king, told his Rashanta wife Izevel, Eis kol asher asa Eliyahu, everything Eliyahu did. Ve'ez kol asher harag is kol hanaviyim bechorev, and how the Navi, he killed all the prophets by the sword. So basically, if you were to hear, right, imagine you were Izevel for a moment, and you heard that Eliyahu gathered all the prophets of the Baal on the mountain, and he made a thunder and lightning show, and he put them all to shame, and the fire came down and consumed his offering, and Eliyahu killed all the Navi'ei Habal. What would you then think of Eliyahu? Would you be scared of him? You should be scared of the living daylights from Eliyahu. So when Izevel hears this, she sends word to Eliyahu, tomorrow you're a dead man. I don't understand. Right now, she just heard word that Eliyahu put all her prophets to shame. He killed everyone. He made a thunder and lightning, laser show on Har Carmel. He poured water all over the place and a fire still came down. So you should be scared of him. No, it only rates her on more. Why? Why would that be? So the Chidah explains as follows. He says, the kavanah could be that, you know what Achav was telling Izevel? Okay, we know what Eliyahu did. But at the end of the day, you think God is pleased with him? You know what he had to do? He had to be makriv karbanos. Where was he makriv karbanos? On Har HaKarmel. You're allowed to be makriv karbanos there? No. So how did Eliyahu do it? It was a Hirah Shah, right? From here we see that a Navi as a Hirah Shah is allowed to violate the Torah, right? If somebody sees a Navi eating pork, is the Navi Chayiv Misa? No, not if he did it one time and he said God told him to do it as a Hirah Shah. That's what Eliyahu a Navi did on Har HaKarmel. So what Achav is telling Izevel, Achav is reitzin on Izevel. Izevel, Eliyahu was mevatel the Torah. He was makriv karbanis b'chutz. He was makriv b'shas isra abamos. Also, another thing. What is the punishment of somebody who prophecies in the name of Avodah Zarah falsely? What's the punishment? We got the Misa part. What kind of Misa? Chanek, choking. And how did Eliyahu kill the Nevi'ei Habal? He took a rope and he choked them? He killed them by the sword. Wait a second. Who's allowed to kill somebody by the sword? A melech. A melech kills b'cherev. So he did two things wrong. First of all, he brought karbanos b'shas isra bamos. Number two, according to the Din Torah, they're chayiv chenek. And instead of administering chenek, what did he do? He administered cherev. So he's a murdered b'malchus. He thinks he's a melech. Now we could get him. Number one, he violates the Torah. Number two, he administers the wrong misa. So Izevel sends word to Eliyahu. Okay, so we have a very interesting thing here. Vatishlach Izevel malach. Izevel sends an angel, not an angel, a messenger, not malach, right? Not malach mamish. A messenger, Eliyahu leimar, ko ya'asun Elokim v'cho yosifun. So shall God do, and so shall He continue to do. Ki cha'es machar, this time tomorrow, asum es nafshecha kenechet nefesh achas mahem. You're a dead man. Says the Chidah in the Nachal Sarek. He quotes in the name of the Be'er Yitzchak Ashkenazi that lekavod Eliyahu Zachor Latov, a malach of God came, and he appeared like one of the Mesharsim, and she sent through him to say, Koi Yosifun. In other words, in the honor of Eliyahu, an angel appeared. He says the Chidah, based on this, we could answer a very big question. Why was Eliyahu Navi worried about what Izevel said? Because what did Eliyahu do when Izevel sent word, tomorrow you're a dead man? He ran away. Why should he run away? Why would he be scared of Izevel? He just knocked off hundreds of Nevi'ei Habal. He just brought down fire from heaven. He just made the biggest, a laser show in history. Now Izevel says, tomorrow you're a dead man. Why would Eliyahu be afraid? And says the Chidah, the truth is, I already addressed this question in the Sefer Tzavarei Shalal. And then I remembered that this issue appears in the Zohar HaKadosh. Okay, but he says like this: V'ata ani oimer derech drash, kefi divrei harav hadniskar. The efshar, that the key, since the Malach came, and the Malach appeared like the Mesharis of the queen, and he came b'shlichos, right? The Chidah started off by saying this messenger was a Malach, like we said, Malach Mamish to begin with. It was a Malach, in the guise of the Mesharis of the king. And b'vadai de kamoy rega ba'itz Eliyahu zachor latayv. So he realized that this was the Ratzon of Hashem, that he should leave. So that's why the pasuk says, Vayar, Vayakam, Vayilech, El Nafshay. He saw that the Malach came suddenly to tell him about what happened. So he realized that this was the Ratzon of Hashem, that he should go and skedaddle. Okay, let's look in the next piece in the Chidah, in the Tzavarei Shalal. Look at number 6. Vatishlach Izevel, Malach Eliyahu Lemar, Kayasun Elokim v'Chol Yosifun ki ka'es machar asim es nafshecha kenefesh achad mehem vayar vayakom vayelech al nafshay. This is a great, astounding wonder. First of all, Izevel knew the power of Eliyahu. Eliyahu, by the way, previously swore there would not be rain unless he said so, and there was famine for 3 years. And he was well established that to be a Navi of Hashem. He killed all the Nevi'ei Habal. There was not one remnant. He brought down the fire from heaven. Everyone said Hashem Elokim. How does she have the audacity and maybe the stupidity to say, tomorrow you're a dead man? Maybe Eliyahu would say back, and the next minute, you're a dead lady. Where did she get so emboldened from? Also, why did Eliyahu have to leave? Because of Izevel. So the Chidah says as follows. The first pshat was, he realized it was a Malach, so he realized that was the Ratzon of Hashem. Number 2, V'haposha b'zeh. Izevel knew that Avodah Zarah is empty, is meaningless. And if Eliyahu Hanavi would merely open up his mouth, he would make her disintegrate and she would no longer exist. But she knew one little trick. And that is, there's a rule by tzaddikim that they could do any miracle they want, but ein soimchen al hanes, they're not going to rely on a miracle. And they don't just bother God to do whatever they need to do. So she was very smart. She says, if I'm going to put him up against the wall, so he'll use his power against me and he'll kill me. But so she sent him a nice message saying, get out of here, run away. So now she's offering him the most available, blatant hishtadlus possible. Instead of him having to face her and confront her and making another lightning show, he'll run away. So she figured she would trap him into having to resort to regular pedestrian hishtadlus. And this way was because she knew that if the people say Hashem Elokim, Hashem Elokim, and she knew the people said that, and Achav saw that, and if Eliyahu remains nearby, then everything is going to go down the drain. Everyone's going to be Makar HaKadosh Baruch Hu, including her husband. So her chachma was to say, Eliyahu, get out of here, run away, and this way the reports about Har HaKarmel will, wane in the back mirror, and people will forget about it. But then he, okay, so that's the Chidah's other pshat here. His other approach, that it's not that Izevel didn't recognize Eliyahu, she knew exactly who he was, but she also knew that he would not want to have to rely on any miraculous intervention if he had an open avenue to be able to run away, and which Eliyahu did.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.